It happened again. Well, I don't know then. Okay, let's share this. So I'm going to share with you guys the ACLS prep. All right, so I'm going to share with you the ACLS prep.
I think the most important thing people need to understand.
All right, so let's go over just some basic EKG. So this is our EKG paper here. All right, guys, so good afternoon. Happy Friday. Hopefully everyone's doing well out there. We are going to start our session today going over a particular heart block. So let me know if you guys have any questions. And we'll see if we can't answer some questions here today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over this EKG with you guys, and we'll try to figure out what rhythm we're looking at here. What do you guys think? What rhythm are we looking at here? And this is really important. This is going to be on your ACLS test. I can guarantee you this is going to be on your ACLS test. So what rhythm are we looking at here, guys? Does anybody have any guesses? Any guesses what this is? So first of all, take a look at the rhythm and look at the QRSs. Look at the distance between the QRSs. Are they equidistant? Are these R to R intervals the same? So how many of you guys think the R to R interval is the same? All right, so we see that there looks like there's a drop of some kind, right? So you guys can see right here, looks like we're missing a QRS. And forgive me because this side over here was cut off. I couldn't change that. So there's a QRS here, a QRS there, and a QRS right there. So we'll just go over this basic EKG. Notice the R to R interval. Okay, so let's talk about the R to R interval. The R to R interval is the distance between your R waves. And you guys can see that there's 1, 2, 3 large boxes, right? So that corresponds to what rate? So what rate would 3 large boxes be in your R to R interval? Okay, so when you're reading these EKGs, it's important to know how to calculate an estimated heart rate. So you've probably been taught before, maybe perhaps if for those of you guys are in RN school, you guys went 300, 150, 100, 75, 60, 50, 43, 37, etc. But I mean, who can actually memorize that, right? I mean, I do because I teach ACLS all the time. But if you don't want to memorize all these numbers that I just stated, just take the number 300 and divide it by the R to R interval. So 300 divided by 1, 2, 3. So the R to R interval here is 3 large boxes. So 300 divided by 3 is 100 beats per minute. So that'd be your estimated heart rate. Now that we have a heart rate, now we're taking a look at the QRSs. And notice that the R to R interval, we should have a QRS right here, but we don't. And then if we take a look here where we're missing the QRS, just to the left of where we'd expect it, what do you see right here? That's a P wave, right? So we have the SA node is fired, but there's no corresponding QRS. So what do you guys think that we're looking at here? So what rhythm are we looking at here, guys, on this EKG? So we have a missing QRS, and when you're missing a QRS, think heart block. All right, so this is a heart block. Which heart block is it? First degree, second degree, or a third degree heart block? Which one is it? So let's just go over the definitions of each heart block first. So the definition of first degree heart block is a 1-to-1 conduction, so 1 P wave to 1 QRS. The definition of second degree heart block is a dropped QRS, and there's 2 different types of second degree heart block. So second degree type 1 and second degree type 2. Second degree type 1, do you guys remember how to define second degree type 1? So that is your winky block. So going, gone, or longer drop. Now you have a winky block, right? So that's when the PR interval increasingly gets larger. Second degree type 2 is a fixed PR interval. And then finally, your third degree is complete dissociation. So you're going to have a complete heart block. All right, so do we have a missing QRS? The answer is yes. So what heart blocks does that immediately rule out if we have a missing QRS? So if you have a missing QRS, that immediately rules out first degree and third degree, right? Because first degree heart block is a 1-to-1 conduction. There's no drop QRS. In fact, first degree heart block just looks like normal sinus rhythm. Now your third degree heart block is 2 different heart rates. Again, AV dissociation. So you have 2 different heart rates. You have your atrial rate, and then you have your ventricular rate. So this one here has a missing QRS, so this has to be a second degree heart block. Now there's 2 different types of second degree heart block, second degree type 1 and second degree type 2. The way to differentiate between the 2 is your PR interval. So notice the PR interval here. Notice what it is over here. All right, so if you were to, and I'm sorry that this was cut off right here, but this is a more narrow PR interval than this one is. So it's not nearly as wide. So it gets longer, and then there's a drop, and then it goes back to having a narrow PR interval again. That is your winky block. That is your second degree type 1. So winky block. Do you guys have any questions in regards to what we just went over? So I'm just going to go through here. I'm going to see what comments there were, any questions that you guys had. But let me know if you guys have any questions at all, because this is one of the most missed questions on an ACLS exam is your second degree heart blocks. And, you know, actually what people get confused on is second degree type 1 and third degree. And they do look kind of similar at first. I could definitely see why people get those confused. But the way to avoid the confusion is looking at the R to R interval first, kind of ignoring the P waves is how I present it when I teach ACLS. I just tell everybody, ignore the P waves, look at the QRSs first, look at your R to R interval, Does it change? All right, so, and for those of you who are here, where are you guys from? So where are you guys from? I'm in California myself. All right. You guys, for those of you who just entered the room, do you guys have any questions as to this rhythm, or can you identify this rhythm? Can you guys identify this rhythm? All right. So again, for those of you who have joined, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over just some basic EKG stuff. Let me know if you guys have any questions in regards to ACLS in general. For those of you who are about to take an ACLS class, let me know if you guys have any questions. So I would say that, when my ACLS students come to class, unless they have prepared themselves, right? So you get those that do not. What they're most intimidated by are the heart blocks. And that's why I spent so much time talking about them and posting about them. All right. Okay, so again, let's go over the heart rate. How do you guys estimate heart rate? All right, so taking a look at this QRS here and that QRS right there, we're going to estimate heart rate. All right, this one here is actually missing. So we have 1, 2, 3 large heart. 1, 2, 3 large boxes. And basically you take the number 300 and you divide it by your R to R interval. So 300 divided by 3 is 100. So we have an estimated heart rate of 100. All right. Now take a look at the P wave preceding this QRS right here. So your PR interval is measured from the beginning of the P wave to the R wave. And so sometimes people get confused between the PR segment, which is this portion of the baseline here, and the PR interval. So an interval actually includes a wave. So that's the difference between a PR segment and a PR interval. So a segment is just a portion of the baseline, whereas an interval actually includes a wave. Okay, so you can see this PR interval here. Notice how it's different than this PR interval here. Okay, so right away when you're taking a look at this, we want to, number one, figure out the heart rate. So again, 300 divided by 1, 2, 3 is 100. So we have a rate of about 100 beats per minute from what we can see. Next, is it regular or irregular? So I'm going to take a look at the QRSs here. And then notice I can see that there's one missing here because we have an R to R interval of 3, and then notice it doubles right here. So we have a missing QRS right here. And because that QRS is missing, automatically I'm going to think heart block. So if I kind of look in this zone of irregularity here, where I expect to see the QRS, just to the left of that, we have a P wave. So it looks like the atria fired, right? The SA node fired, but then there's no corresponding QRS. So we have a dropped QRS. And because we have a dropped QRS, that actually rules out 2 heart blocks. Which 2 heart blocks does that rule out? You guys that just joined? So which heart block does that rule out if we have a dropped QRS? Which heart block has a 1-to-1 conduction ratio? Does anybody know? Does anybody know? Dalton, where are you from? I see you've been sticking around here. So where are you from, Dalton? All right, so the heart block with the 1-to-1 conduction is your first degree heart block. In fact, you can't really tell the difference between the two. So, all right. All right, well, I'm not really getting any participation here. So I think I'll try you guys later. But I will return. I will go live again, and we'll go over EKG. But it doesn't look like anybody had any questions or anything. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Ava, I didn't say you could have your phone back.
I didn't have my phone.
Who called me from your phone?
I used my watch. I knew
Okay.
you were in here, so.
Okay, what do you need?
The garbage disposal wasn't working. And I tried clicking the button, but it wasn't working.
Okay.
And I was just trying to get
Is Mom home?
Yeah. She's working on dinner.
Okay. All right, go.
Okay.